and call the meeting to order at 7:06. And I will, hello everybody. Nice to see you all this evening. Hello, Shannon and friends. We'll get to you guys in a couple minutes. How exciting is it? It's pretty hot out there, so we won't keep you long. Give us one sec. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, but I know that the first item up is a motion to approve the minutes. So is there a motion to approve, and then we'll have discussion?
I'll move the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
So Yvonne moved, Claudia second. And is there any discussion or changes? Sharon, go ahead.
I just had one quick update.
Yep.
On page 2, first bullet, it says onboarding and doc, and it should just say onboarding document. And that's all I have. Thanks.
All right, excellent. And just making sure you can all see my screen as I share the blank screen. There we go. Okay, great. Are there any other changes? Please either visibly raise your hand or raise your hand on Zoom. And Yvonne, if you could help me if you see hands up, because I'm balancing the sharing of and everything. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, seeing that there's no more discussion, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended, please raise your hand. And 5, is that 6? Michelle, are you helping me count? Sorry. Oop. I think we're good. 6, Michelle? Oops, did we lose Michelle?
6, sorry. Yes.
6. All right, I think that's it, but just in case, any objections, any abstentions? Okay, so moves. All right, and we first, in the event there are any folks on for public comment.
Yes, we have Diane Loricella. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Dan. Welcome. My name is Dr. Christina Testabuzzi, and our new chair. Welcome. You have 3 minutes. Can begin now.
Good evening and welcome, Madam Chair and committee and staff. My name is Diane Loricella, and I've lived in Norwalk for over 40 years. And I'm very happy that we have this this focus. And I know there are some changes that you'll discuss during this meeting. The reason I wanted to come on and speak today in the few minutes I have is because when this commission was first revived from Bill Collins having it back in the 80s, but when it first was revived, at the time I was having some troubles or issues with the Mayor's Water Quality Committee, which is currently on hold, and I'm a member. And so I wrote a letter to this commission, and unfortunately, I have yet to have any meaningful discussion or response from anyone from the commission, the past chair, the staff person, or any of the members, including those that said that they would reach out. So I would like to revive that letter because it's still, the things that I mentioned in it are still timely and still an issue. I could not pull it up for this meeting to share my screen, but you all should have it in the minutes. It would be in the most early stages of this commission's revival. And so I look forward to hearing about some of the progress and some of the changes tonight. And I would like someone from this commission to reach out to me. My email and my phone number is in the letter that I sent over a year ago. And life gets in the way. I got busy, but I'm a little heartbroken that fellow women would not respond to a woman who has been a leader in upholding all people's rights. So I would like someone to get back to me sooner rather than later, and I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. We appreciate you coming and sharing your thoughts. Okay. Are there any additional public comments, Michelle?
Nope, they're not. There aren't.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so for first order of new business is I'm going to turn it over to one of our fellow commissioners, Miss Shannon O'Toole Gianderco. I was going to say it, I promised. I was practicing last names, and maybe I should say coach in this dual hat that she's wearing. So Shannon, you're on mute. Would you go ahead and take it away?
Okay, girls, I want everybody over here. Good evening, commissioners. We have our practice happening live. Everybody over here, quick, come on. Everybody.
Girls, come on in. Hey,
Okay.
break and press.
Easy, put our bats down. All right, girls, time to focus. So, commissioners, this is the Crush 8U Black Team 2024. We won the state tournament 2 weeks ago. It is our first time winning that tournament. We played on a very, very hot weekend and had a final tally of 4-1 for the weekend. They played their hearts out. They got amazing trophies and brought back a lot of pride to the city of Norwalk. So we appreciate you taking the time to honor them. And here they are.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Is there a motion on the floor to recognize this great achievement and their coach?
So moved.
Yeah.
We move it.
Everybody's nominating that
Everyone.
motion. So I think Claudia's hand went up first. Jasmine, your hand went up second. All those in favor of recognizing the girls U8 team and their accomplishments, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. All those opposed, all those abstaining. Thank you. In all seriousness, as a young woman who grew up playing softball in Norwalk, it is very exciting to celebrate you all and acknowledge your achievement along with your coach and your coaching team. All right, go drink some water. Thank you all.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
guys. We are very proud of
Congratulations.
you.
Thank you very much for honoring us. They're very proud of their accomplishments. Oh, yes.
Excellent.
You won.
Thank you.
Go
All
practice.
right.
Thank you. We have games this weekend, so we're going to get back to practice.
All right.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Shannon.
Thank you,
Good job,
Shannon.
Shannon.
When we get off, I'll try to hop on, but I got to finish doing some fielding.
Okay,
Bye now. Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for that. And so now let me get back to sharing my screen. All right, moving right along. Michelle, I'm going to throw it over to you for an update on the city hiring a DEI officer. I'm sure you all have well, I put it up to share, but the agenda. So go ahead.
Yeah, so thanks, Christina. The city is in the process of working with Norwalk Public Schools to hire a DEI person or a DEI officer. So we are redefining the job description so that the person works with Norwalk Public Schools and the city. It's a big priority, so they're working on it, and they hope to put out the job description really soon. Just still working with the Board of Education on some final items, but it's a priority. So as soon as that job description comes out, I can share it with the commission, as you guys might be able to pass it along and share it within your network. But I know we'll also put it on the city's LinkedIn page too.
Great. Thank you. Sharon?
Hi, yes. Who would that position report into? Given
They're
that-
still working on those details. I know they still have to meet and hash out some final details, but I can share that as soon as I understand that.
Okay, great, thanks.
Any other comments? Trying to see everybody's hands. Nope. All right. Sharon, go ahead.
I'm awfully talkative today, as always, but I feel like I really need to say this. I think that when we hire a new D&I officer, that it's really important that we take a look back on what happened with the last D&I officer, and that we address a little bit of that or all of that if we can, to ensure that the new person being put forward is set up to succeed. And that we sort of revisit that for the best case scenario moving forward. Thanks.
Appreciate that, Sharon. And I think also maybe sharing the presentation, we did present it to the mayor at the time, the current DEI officer. We've shared it with, I believe, Irene, Alicia King. I don't think we shared it with the public schools. And if they're informing the this new job description, that research and that work that was done by Sharon and the committee may be of help. So that might be a point of reference.
And I think Sharon, thanks for that tip. I think once we get to the point where we're hiring someone and getting closer, we can revisit that and see what your ideas might be, or the commission's ideas might be.
Thank you. All right. Anything else on that topic?
I have a question.
Jasmine? Yep, go
It
ahead.
might be in the part like where you have need more details, but are you able to explain the reasoning behind the merging of the DEI officer working with the schools and the city? Like, or is there a benefit to that, or like how did that come about?
I think one reason why it came about is because the DEI officer, Dr. Thomas McBride, and I'm sorry, I forget his entire title. He had left, I think, last winter, and then Sandra Fayos had taken over the position and become deputy superintendent, right, with that under her role and responsibility. So I think it just created a conversation when he left about how to potentially do more there, even though I know Sandra's working with all the schools to make sure that the DEI policies and programs are implemented. But I think that's what opened up that conversation.
Thank you.
Sure.
And I feel like I cannot see Sarah's hand, so someone will need to just point out for me if she has her hand raised. All right, thank you. Okay, seeing that there is no further comment, of course, we as a commission stand ready to be able to inform, help, support, inquire about that process in any way that we can be helpful. So thank you. Actually, yeah. It's my first meeting, so anybody reading these minutes, give me a little grace. All right. So the next item, item C, discussion on how the commission's committees are structured, and maybe giving some thought to making any changes. And actually, I'm going to sort of commingle items C and E. Sorry, Michelle, I didn't catch this. Those really are part of the same conversation. So if I skip to E, where we talk about the September 9th meeting, where we will be working in person together in a regular public meeting, even if it's a special meeting, there's still public meetings. So it'll still be a meeting with notes and recordings, etc. But we will be meeting, Yvonne, Shannon and I discussed and ran it by Michelle as well, to meet in person to really talk about what our priorities would be and goals for the upcoming year. And instead of trying to do that over the summer, we want to do that September 9th. And as a part of that, I'll be preparing a survey, again, in conjunction with Yvonne and Shannon, to gather some information from you all ahead of time. Part of that being looking at our current committee structure. So now I'll go back up to C. For anyone new, I'm not sure on the call, but we had a community outreach committee, community outreach and civic engagement committee. Yvonne, you led that, correct? Okay.
Yes, informally I did.
Yes, informal. Got it. And then Sharon led our diversification of boards and commissions. And I think Claudia, as our former chair, chaired the agenda committee. That committee has a very specific focus in preparing and getting the agenda ready for public display. So those are the current three committees. This topic did come out of a conversation with Sharon, right, when the diversity committee met. do you want to share some of those thoughts? Again, we'll capture everybody's feedback in a survey to the commissioners. And again, it has to be public, of course, and will be. But just Sharon, did you want to add anything to the conversation around the committees? And Yvonne, I think you also, as the chair of the other, or de facto chair of that committee, might have something to add.
Yvonne, you want to go first?
No, with that part of the group, we did have a specific goal that we wanted to do over the summer last year, and we completed a number of tabling events and did the survey. I feel that the group has slowed down a little bit because we haven't had any other initiatives that we are actively working on. Turns out that the group also is a very busy group of women, and it's a big hard to get together. So I think that probably if we have that conversation as a whole commission in which our focuses will determine whether that specific a part of the commission should continue or should take a different form.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well, to sort of take a look at what our goals and priorities are, have that meeting, and then sort of go from there. But I can speak on behalf of the diversification committee, committee. We laid out what we wanted to accomplish. We probably accomplished, I would say, 8 out of the 10 items. There's a couple that we're at a standstill at because we need the support of the city. One of those is the metrics that I keep talking about. And then there's a couple other things. So I say that we just wait until we have that big meeting and see kind of what the new leadership, Christina, and the other two, what you guys want from this.
Let's go. Thank you, Sharon. Anybody have any feedback on that particular item? Again, I don't think there's any action to be taken here unless someone thinks there is, but I don't think there's any action in this area, but just to watch for the survey that will collect some additional information.
Christina, this is Claudia.
Claudia, thank you.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. I raised my hand, but didn't know if you could see. So, just to say that I think, and this is very much in line with what Yvonne and Sharon just said, but when we created those two committees, they were very much like in line with the activities that we had collectively agreed to pursue and advance. So, I mean, to me, community outreach and civic engagement is always going to be sort of part and parcel of how we operate. But as Yvonne said, without having sort of operational or actions to discuss or move forward, we did sort of just come to a little bit of a lull. And so I think it's a really good idea to have to identify the priorities and then potentially rethink these committees, and then or identify, decide to sunset one or both and create new ones depending on the priorities. The other thing that we noticed collectively at the commission over the past few meetings is that the membership of those two committees were getting to be kind of like overlapping. And so I think that's something to think about too, which also does tie into item D a little bit. I know that's more about attendance at the commission meetings, but I would just say I feel that it seems to me, at least thus far in the life of the commission, the work takes place at the committee level. And then we kind of make decisions collectively and share updates and kind of go back and do more work and come together. And so I think the committees are really important, and I would be really in favor of having standing meetings if we can, for the committees, which did work for a long time. And then also I think kind of an expectation that all commissioners will also participate in at least one committee, if possible. But that's, I'm not putting that out for a vote. I'm just putting it out as an idea and something for folks to consider. And maybe we can think more about it after in the September meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Does it feel freeing, Claudia?
Yes, ma'am. At 6:55, I was like, I'm going to the commission meeting and I don't have to lead it or like get nervous about the first vote.
Got it.
Robert's rules.
That's it. Well, thank you for your feedback, Claudia, on that. I think that's very valuable. So any other comments, questions? No? Okay. Moving right along. Just pointing out that there are currently 2 vacancies on the commission. So we really do want to try to get a full commission by September. This is not a formal request. It's more of a gentle, friendly challenge. If we could all identify one person that doesn't look like ourselves, right? So that's going to be different for everybody, to potentially recommend for consideration for the board. You all know the form is online, but we really do want to make sure that we are putting forward a full slate, so that we can begin maybe in September with a full slate of officers or commissioners. So again, open to the public. So if anybody in the public is listening or reading these minutes, we welcome your nominations as well from the city website. So currently we do have 2 vacancies.
I was just gonna add that I know there was one application recently and some recommendations. So I know the mayor's office is reviewing them, but like Christina said, all new applicants are and recommendations are really helpful also.
Thank you, Michelle. No comments. Okay. Moving along. So the next item on the agenda, G. We the executive committee, Ivana, Shannon, and I had. Sorry, nope. I skipped ahead. Commission name change. Sorry, I was skipping ahead. My apologies. Or did I skip something? Yes, I did. D. We're on D. I'm moving so fast and so far along that I skipped. So D is in David item. Review the bylaws and discuss potentially adding provision that includes a reference to attendance. The other item that we noticed when the executive committee first met, just to kind of get our grounding, was that actually our bylaws say that we meet the 3rd Monday of the month, and indeed we don't. We currently meet the 2nd. So while it's a small item, I think it is important that our bylaws accurately reflect our work. So that is one change that I would like to put forward for a motion. The other consideration with that is that currently our bylaws do not make any reference to attendance, and if folks miss a certain number of meetings with an unexcused absence. We're not talking about my child is sick, I got stuck at work. We're really identifying unexcused absences, which in my experience is a standard clause in many bylaws for boards. So that clause is not in there as well either. So we are looking for a motion to review the bylaws and make recommendations to the city for amendments to the bylaws. So we could break it down. It could be 2 motions or it could be 1. But that's the item that we'd like to move towards some level of action to whatever the group feels best. Sharon?
Yeah, sure. I'll motion to move the meeting to the 3rd Monday of the month.
All right, let's take it one by one. Is there a motion to accept? Or excuse me, second?
Second meeting of the month. 2nd week of the month.
Second? Okay.
Second.
Yes. That's
Oh,
when we're
wow.
currently
It was the
meeting, and
3rd.
yeah,
Okay.
the bylaws say the 3rd, and we are meeting on the 2nd.
So
Right, so 3rd, right.
So motion to move a recommendation to state that in the bylaws, we would meet the 2nd Monday of the month rather than the 3rd Monday of the month. Okay. All those in favor? Raise your hand. Okay. All those abstaining? All those opposing? Sarah, if you want to send me in the chat, the chat to Michelle a vote, or if it's
I
not.
saw Sarah. I thought I saw her raise her hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I only
Okay.
seeing? Sorry, Sarah. Thank you. Great. So 1, 2, 3, 6 moves to a motion to approve the recommendation to amend the bylaws with the date. And then the second matter for conversation, what are folks thinking? If anybody has wording for something that can go in the bylaws, we're open to that. Or we could just make the recommendation to review statements and then make a recommendation. What is the good of the group feel? If we even need it. Claudia?
Yeah, thanks. I would, so just for discussion purposes, I definitely think it's, especially hearing you, Christina, say that you've seen it in bylaws of other boards. And I mean, I think it's, I've seen it in nonprofit boards. And while we've had a pretty good turnout of a core group, we've had a quorum for meetings for a very long time, but there was a stretch where we weren't sure we would have a quorum or where we did not have a quorum. And for such a small commission to not meet that regular, I mean, once a month for an hour and a bit, is, a fairly minimal commitment. And I think it's, really important to ensure that we have robust participation. So I would be very in favor of a review of the bylaws and with the eye toward adding language like that. And I think what you said, Christina, is, I like that wording of sort of unexcused absences, or I'm sure we could look at other examples, so that we know, to, of course, make space for things that are unexpected and really people, but that the expectation is we come on the second Monday of the month at 7 p.m., so thanks.
Other thoughts, comments?
Yeah, I think that when we decide how we're going to move the motion, we will have to decide also what's the minimum number of meetings that we are required to attend. And one piece is, we have 12 meetings scheduled a year or 11. So we have to decide whether we will be meeting 10 times a year or 12 times a year, depending whether we are meeting in December and August, which are the times when other commissions sometimes skip them off.
I think just something else to consider, since sometimes meetings get canceled, you might want to consider going the other way and how many meetings people can miss. But I mean, potatoes, but or tomatoes, but just a suggestion, since it's all, sometimes meetings are canceled.
Yes, true.
I would be interested in seeing like wording in other like boards and commissions. I agree that this should be included in the bylaws. To me, I think excused and unexcused is gray, like kind of gray. To like what's popping up for me, maybe emergency, and the person gets to decide what is an emergency to them, whether sick, work, but I think, it might be too much layers, like what's considered excused, what's considered unexcused. So we just have a minimal of meetings that you have to attend, but then also I'm thinking, I know the commission is different than committee meetings. So we have a commission once a month, commission meetings, but if you end up being on every committee, you could potentially be having 3-4 meetings a month.
Okay.
So the mandate increases. So I think that may come into play too.
Fair point. May I make a suggestion that maybe just for sake of maybe the executive committee can look at, I'll draw us up some. Okay, so I will take responsibility for identifying some sample clauses, and maybe that is something we can move as needed to our September meeting for new business. Because it doesn't sound like, and I appreciate that. It sounds like there's agreement that there does need to be something stated in the bylaws, but what it is not, we're not there yet. We're not at a position to identify what that statement should be. Is that fair?
Yeah, that would be very helpful, Christina.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, will do. Thank you. but the one motion about changing it, Michelle, I will follow up with you as to what the protocol is, or if we should wait until there's any additional motions in the September. Okay. All right, great. September, so E as an elephant, I've already addressed that. You'll be receiving a survey from me and then pestering emails until you've completed it. And I won't know who said what, just please know I will make it anonymous, but we'll look for numbers. So I do want to make sure that you know that. There'll be a space if you want to share personal feedback or associate your name with it, but that won't be required. Sharon, excuse me.
Yeah, sure. Is there a way, do we have an email address if someone from the public wants to give us feedback or talk about issues in the community that they want us to be aware of? Because I would think that we should also maybe think about that as well on top of the work we've already done. And
It's a good idea.
or what do you recommend?
Yeah, I can see if that's something that commissions and boards have, and if so, we can create one on the city side.
Great.
Thanks.
I think that's a great idea, Sharon. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. I already mentioned that they're moving along. I already mentioned there are 2 vacancies on the commission. Michelle did share that there's some being reviewed currently, but as of this moment, there are 2 vacancies. And Michelle, I think you were going to give us an update on G, next steps for proposed name change for the Commission on the Status of Women.
Yes, I know Christina and then Claudia in the past both volunteered to just share a recommendation with the Common Council's Ordinance Committee. So I don't know if anyone else is interested, but we just need to get one of you on, or you could do it together. I mean, one person is plenty, but get you on the Ordinance Committee's upcoming agenda. And we would work with Brian Candela on that. So he's in the law department and he's the staffer for the Ordinance Committee. So I don't know if Claudia and Christina, you're both still interested, or if someone else is, or if Christina, you want to take that on, but we can coordinate with Brian.
I'd be happy to do that, unless anyone has any other concerns. I will pull from part of our diversity presentation, just in my own notes and such. And then if anyone has any specific feedback they want to give me once we have a date and a time, you can just email me. Is that fair, Michelle? Claudia, are you okay with that?
I'm 100% okay with that, Christina. Yeah, and the only thing I would add is just I can send you or resend the letter that we sent to the Ordinance
Please.
Committee, because it sets forth all the kind of rationale and the background and what we looked at and et cetera. So that would be, when I thought I was going to do it a few months ago, I was really just going to take that and use that as my talking point. So I'll forward that to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns on G before we go to old business?
Thanks for doing it.
Yep, no problem. My pleasure. I did, as an aside, I did represent us at the civic engagement program as well, and got up and spoke on the mic and sang our praises. Anyway, I thought it was important that they know that there were some commissioners in the audience. So
That's
Yvonne
awesome.
showed up. She gave me
Thank you.
Yeah, she gave me some courage, and then she had a bolt. But thank you. All right. Moving on to old business. Yvonne, do you have any update? I mean, I think you kind of spoke to that committee already.
Yes, no, we don't have any updates, Christine.
Okay. And Sharon, any further updates?
No further updates.
Okay. And any other announcements? We have a standing agenda, right, Michelle? I'm wondering if we could add any announcements for the good of the group. I don't know if that's appropriate, but if we could, I'll ask for that now. Any announcements for the good of the group? And
I think the one thing that we talked about in executive session is just so everyone knows, there's we have a new athletic supervisor in recreation and parks named Will, who has a hard last name that I need to learn how to say. But he shared with some of us that he's trying to further develop and increase youth sports among girls, and that he would really like to work with you all. I know I think Christina and Shannon and Yvonne said they were interested in the idea. I just wanted to share it with the larger group, to see if he could partner with you all to, you know, I'm not sure what the data is, what sports he's working on, all of that, but I know he said recently that there wasn't, maybe during the pandemic, a decrease in youth girls sports, and he's looking for ideas to get some running and up again. So just putting that out there in case more members are interested in having him come to an upcoming meeting or otherwise.
So yeah, the executive committee did think that it would be good for him to come to the next meeting. Would there be any objections, concerns to having him do a kind of an overview of what he's thinking, what he's planning, and his thoughts and how we might be able to help that then we could respond to, not immediate on site, but to process? No concerns?
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay. I think it does tie also to some degree to the, oh, Sharon, what was it called? The master plan for sports and recreation and the girls committee. And I know that, I think that has been paused a little bit. So we're waiting to hear back about that. I'm sure we'll be looped in as well. So.
Yeah, and if anyone reaches out to Will, he sounds amazing. Can we just try to get him to give us data, any data? Like I'm all about being data driven and how we look at things, and without it we can't really tell where we are, where we're going, right?
Yeah, I could definitely ask him for that.
That'd be great.
Right.
Fair enough. Great.
Christina, I just have one question. Are we meeting in August? I heard
Thank you.
that's the
Good
question.
point. A point of information, Michelle, what is the protocol if we are not meeting in August? Do we have to move to not meet in August with vacations and such, or what's sorry?
You could make a motion if you wanted to. I don't know if you want to discuss it first, but it was just an idea I think that Shannon brought up.
Yeah, she mentioned that most commissions don't meet in August.
Is there a motion to cancel our August meeting due to summer schedules, or do we want to see if there's a quorum and then schedule? What is the thought? The open meeting or the September 9th meeting, we still would want in person. What's the greater group think? Comment, thoughts?
I mean, I'm here, but if we think that a fair number of people won't be, then it also sounds like we have a lot of work, a lot of decisions that will happen and good discussion in September 9th. And so, you know, maybe just wait till then, you know.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to, oh, go ahead, Yvonne. No, go ahead.
No, Claudia, go ahead. Yeah.
I move to cancel the August 2024 meeting and meet again on September 9th in person.
Okay. Yvonne seconded. Claudia motioned. Yvonne seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. All those in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Sarah, do you raise her hand?
Sorry?
Sarah raised her hand too.
Yep. Thank you. 6 in favor. Any opposed? Any objections? Motion moves. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Is there any other business? If not, if there's a motion to adjourn. Jasmine motioned. Is there a second? Sharon second. Meeting adjourned at 7:45 p.m.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank
you, everybody.
Take
Talk to you
care.
Have a great
Have a
summer.
rest of your summer.
Great summer,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.